Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps us out. Thanks again. When the Mercedes CLA first came out, the brand said that it would raise the bar for the entry-level segment, but besides from having a fancy badge on it, it left us wondering, where's the luxury? For the second generation model, Mercedes actually made good on its word, and now the CLA is a legit luxury car. The CLS is the sportier and more expressive version of the E-Class in the Mercedes lineup, and the CLA also does a similar thing to the A-Class. Although it's not as swoopy and dramatic as the old one, I actually prefer the look of the new one more. It definitely looks more expensive than it is, and a lot more grown up. One of the things Mercedes kind of messed up with the old CLA was the interior. Now, they used a lot of hard black plastic, so it felt very cheap and not really up to Mercedes standards. With this new CLA though, it is so nice. It could be an E-Class in here. Besides taking a bunch of styling cues from its bigger and more expensive siblings, it has a lot of the same tech too, which is great because this is an entry-level car. You'll love the huge dual customizable widescreens that house the infotainment system and the gauge cluster. It has those fancy-looking turbine-style air vents and colorful ambient lighting, and it also has the more simplified and streamlined design of the dashboard. Alcantara seats with contrast stitching also class it up in here, and all the trim materials they use feel very expensive. Best of all, the CLA comes with the most up-to-date and high-end driver assistance and safety technology. It's available with full-speed adaptive cruise control that's capable of stop and go, but the system can also navigate bends in the road and will actually have automatic emergency braking and active lane change assist. You'll also love the useful and customizable color head-up display. The CLA also gets Mercedes' newest infotainment system, MBUX, which comes with a personal assistant, kind of like Siri or Alexa. You can say stuff like, "Hey Mercedes, what's the weather like?" or "Turn up the temperature." And the more you use it, the more it learns and gets smarter, making it more intuitive for you. There's also this crazy augmented reality navigation system. It's pretty useful, but it can also be kind of distracting. There's nothing else on the market right now though, and it is really cool. It's helpful when highlighting when to exit or telling you what lane to be in and what your track should be. They also have this new touchpad interface to control the infotainment system. It's pretty intuitive to use and has haptic feedback, but you can also use the touchscreen if you wanted to. I'm just thankful they give you both options. So in the old CLA, the driving dynamics weren't really anything to write home about unless it was the AMG version, which was hilarious. I'm driving the new CLA 250, and the improvements to the driving dynamics are actually pretty dramatic. One of the biggest improvements to the CLA is the 7-speed DCT transmission. The one in the old CLA felt really unrefined, so it really took away from how luxurious the CLA felt. It was really juddery at low speeds, and sometimes it just slammed into gear, but with the new CLA, it's actually really smooth, and it always feels like it's in the right place. One of the improvements that I appreciate the most about the CLA is the new suspension system. So the old one was harsh to the point where it was just really uncomfortable and it drove really well, but it kind of beat you up when you were driving. The new one strikes a really good balance between sport and luxury, so it can hold a corner really well, but it also doesn't beat you up and it feels really comfortable. I also really like that the CLA feels agile and it drives like a small car, which is great because normally small cars don't feel very luxurious, but this one succeeds at feeling like something more higher end. Two versions of the 2020 CLA will be offered from launch, the front-wheel drive CLA 250 and the all-wheel drive CLA 250-4MATIC, though Canadians will only be able to get the all-wheel drive model. Both versions are powered by the same 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, which is now good for 221 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, which is a 13 horsepower increase over the outgoing CLA 250. That 7-speed DCT remains the only transmission option. You can bet an AMG version is coming soon, and I am so excited to see what that drives like. Now that Mercedes has the A-Class as its new entry-level model, that left the CLA room to really grow up and become more premium. What that means is that the car finally feels like a true Mercedes product, meaning it's luxurious and it feels very special.